Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're here tonight with the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series here as we are in the round of 10 for their playoffs here. We're going to eliminate two of those 10 drivers that are still fighting for that championship here tonight at the Pocono Raceway, as tonight is the 22Q Family Foundation 225 here at Pocono. And we always want to give a special shout out to Budget Sim Boxes. Make sure you check them out in the iRacing flea market, as they are the main sponsor here at Sim Racing Unleashed. But as always, it's Zach Hall up here in the booth. Joined alongside me tonight is our producer and co-commentator here tonight for me is this Robert Moyer Jr., as we're going to get to call the action here tonight for 90 laps around this 2.5-mile racetrack. Robert, it's been a fun time so far throughout the season, but tonight we got 10 drivers with a chance to fight for a championship, but they got to be the top 8 finishers of those 10 if they want to be moving on.
Well, that is correct there, Zach. They got to be in the top 10 here to move on, and so we'll have to see how that all plays out here at Pocono Raceway. And out of them top 10s there, Zach, we got good old Steven Stempian really knows how to get around this track really, really well. So that's going to be a key to watch if he can, I don't want to say dominate, but I want to say see if he can bring home the win here tonight, because I call this is his home track. We've seen him multiple times, win here at Pocono. And then not only that, you got 7 other drivers that, Mark Whitley and, got all these drivers that got a chance to possibly knock him off what I call his pedestal. And, 2 drivers are going to go home. So it's going to be very interesting as we're going to be going around here for 90 laps here tonight. So, you're going to have to keep the car clean, play it smart. Don't get yourself into anything. There is no fast repairs here. So the last thing you want to do is get any kind of damage here at Pocono, because this is a very air sensitive track. If you don't agree with that, Zach, or do you?
Oh, I completely agree with it, Robert. I think you nailed all those points there, man. We got to give a round of applause for our producer right there. He is just killing it with the points there already here tonight. And
bingo, I win.
It's like you've been doing this, for a long time, Robert.
Not really. Only 2.5 years.
He's not used to talking anymore, but I tell you what, he definitely knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. He acts like he doesn't. But
Right. Well, hopefully my microphone sounds fine. Everybody's got to let me know if it's got to go up or down, because I don't talk too much, so the cars might drown me out. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely let us know out there with our sound, how it sounds out there for you, how the viewing angles are, and who you want us to check out here tonight, because we got a lot of drivers out here ready to do battle. It's like 22 drivers signed up here for tonight's race, so we'll see which of those 22 can put down a great qualifying lap here, as we're seeing now the number 1 machine, Isaiah Sutherland, come out here to put down his time. And we've seen qualifying has been very critical. Last week at Auto Club Speedway, we've seen Steven Stempian set in the pole position, dominate, win the race, move himself on to this next round here. But tonight it all resets back. So just because he won last week, Steven Stempian goes out here and has an issue, he could very well be out of this thing too. So it's a very worrisome time for these playoff drivers here in Pocono.
Not really there, Zach. We're going to correct
that's
that.
right.
He won the season champion. You're right.
That's right.
This is nothing. He's already in the top 4.
He is, exactly. I believe it's going to be top 6, I believe. So
they have 6 in the champ. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's 6. I may be wrong there too again, but I completely keep forgetting. Steven Stempian, he's got a comical playoffs here. He's already into the championship race, so he is in a great spot. But the drivers that are the ones worrying definitely got to be Mark Whitley, Chuck Sweeting, Mark Koscheck, Mike Chamberlain, Brad Delph, James Bryant, Robert Cheswick, Larry Blair, and Michael Yarrow. So of that group of 9 there, they are all in a worrisome time here entering tonight at Pocono. And with Steven Stempian already kind of locked in, the biggest thing that I look at there, Robert, is the fact that we could, really, that kind of takes a spot away if, he has a mistake. So it kind of pushes that cut line up even farther.
Right.
So it's really going to have to be, your top 7, I'd say, also.
Yeah, top 7, most definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. That list that you just put, take Stempian out of this. that list that you just read off of them drivers, it's a nail biter for all of them. They're all equal in speed. They all run equally at each track. Basically, we've seen all season. So, which one of those drivers are going to step up and, you know, you know, lock themselves in, get into the next round? I mean, because I do believe this is the last race until Homestead next week, correct?
No, it is
No, we
not.
have
We
one
have
more
New
after
Hampshire.
this.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, then Homestead.
Yeah,
Okay.
then Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta. What? Oh, I'll say I'm so used to NASCAR schedule.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll go to here tonight at Pocono. We'll cut it down to 8 drivers. Then from New Hampshire, I believe they'll cut another 2 off down to 6, and one of those being Steven Sipian. So really going to cut it down to 5. So
5.
yeah, it'll be all interesting at the end once we get to Atlanta and have that Renegade Reptiles 225 there. But we do have 2 weeks here where 9 drivers have a chance, Robert, to move on, but also have a chance to be knocked out. So they're in a tough time here in Pocono. You brought up a great point about the damage. You get any damage out here at Pocono, it's going to be a major issue for you. But not only that, but we've seen it in the next gen car be even a bigger hindrance. So, man, definitely don't want to keep any fenders from getting flared out there as they continue to put times down here with a minute remaining. Michael Yarrow there, Robert Him and Chuck Sweeting, great times to put themselves first and second, along with Cedric Hunter, their third.
Oh wow, Yarrow, really great lap there. Great Chuck there to see him up there in P2 right now. That's actually a really good lap for him, and that's what he needs. He's in the playoffs too, just like with everybody else. So he needs a good run here tonight, and we'll get off of what we're talking about, good runs and what drivers need to do here, and we'll talk more on them, throughout the race. But, Zach, my other question is next gen cars. We know what kind of package we had. We know what kind of package we have now. Now, what do you think? What are we expecting with these cars? Have you heard anything from the insides down on the pit road there from Cedric Hunter's pit crew? How these cars handle, or from Hunter? Because, I mean, they're draft sensitive. I believe this is what's going to happen here tonight, and I could be wrong, is you're the car that gets out front. It's going to be hard to pass. Granted, we do got 3 different turns. That's why they call it the tricky triangle. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, because you're going to have to navigate each turn differently with different speeds and everything. So you could be better in tunnel turn, than the other driver better in turn 3. You know what I mean? So I'm very interested to see what these next gen cars do.
Yeah, I think it is an interesting circumstance. I actually have not got any knowledge from them guys yet here tonight, so we'll see how it plays out. But I'd imagine 1 and 2 one at least being very close to a wide open tunnel turn. They may have to be cracking the throttle, especially in the dirty air. Then 3, I believe they're going to definitely have to be lifting down in 3. That'll be the difference maker there with how flat it is and how long of a corner. So we'll see how that all works out. But they're starting to grid up here, Robert, as qualifying has come to an end, as we'll look to bring up our starting results here tonight, as Michael Yarrow brings home the pole position. Alongside him on the front row is going to be the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Third is going to go to last week's second place car, Cedric Hunter. Fourth is going to be Hunter Hayward in the 48 machine. Fifth is going to be one of our playoff contenders there, Mark Whitley. Sixth is going to be Brad Delph. Seventh is last week's winner, Steven Stippy. Eighth is going to go to Isaiah Sutherland. Ninth is going to be Brandon Hartwell. And rounding out that top 10 here is Dave Bush in 10th position.
Good top 10 there from Dave Bush. We've got Stephen Leffler there in 11th position. James Bryant is going to start in 12th. In that number 73 is going to be Larry starting 13th with Robbie Darnell. In the number 44 there, 22Q Racing team there starting 14th. And then we got Mark, one of the playoff drivers. He's going to start 15th. And then we got Kyle, Mike, and Ashley starting there in 18th position here. And we go down to the rest of the field here, Zach, as we got Kevin Roy in that number 12 there starting 19th with Paul Cohen. It's going to be in 20th in that 51 machine there. We got Jason Adams in the 24. Did not put down a time. We'll see if he can have a bounce back race. Last week was a little rough for him. And then we got Robert in that number 6. It's going to be starting last. So we got a couple drivers that did not put down a qualifying lap. And we'll see if that was the game plan, or if they're having a little bit of technical issues getting through, race inspection there.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see if you guys not put laps down. But yeah, that was the qualifying results here for tonight for the 22Q Family Foundation 225 here from the Pocono Raceway with the Sim Racing Unleashed Cup Series and the Next Gen Cup Series as we're racing into the future. And it's cool. This car right here, Robert. We always talked about it when it first came out. This series, it's the next gen car. It's the future, but it's the now. Now we are in that future,
Yep.
and these are the cars that we're going to have to be, really seeing here a majority of our nights here on broadcast. So we're going to grow with this car. We're going to learn with this car, and man, it's definitely has its ups and downs. And now I think we're on the upward trend as everything in the data starts to compile that NASCAR has grown over these tests. I can't wait for them to give it to iRacing and let iRacing go wild with it.
Yep, we'll have to see what iRacing does with that there, Zach. And I agree, man. It's the future. And the more and more I see these cars, the more and more it starts growing on me. Yes, I was the one that did not like the way they moved the numbers at and put the logos on. I thought it looked stupid. And yeah, I'll be the one that says it. But, be honest with you, now that I'm starting to see the paint schemes in real life and seeing them out here in iRacing, I'm actually starting to like some of the designs, and it's growing on me. And I think by Daytona 500 real life, I think I should be okay. Hopefully.
Personally, looking at it, Robert,
Yeah.
I was not a fan of it either, but it wasn't something that was going to really affect me too much personally. Whatever it is, it'll be. So, I was kind of like that, but man, it's grown on me also. So, if you work the design around it, it can be a nice thing. So,
Yeah,
seen some good looking cars out here for sure tonight, designed with those forward numbers. So, it's good to see as the pace car pulls in. We're starting playoff race number 2 here, round of 10. We're going to eliminate 2 playoff drivers here tonight. It's green flag racing here at the Pocono Raceways. They head down to turn 1. Chuck Sweeting with a big push from the 4800 Hayward really on the back bumper.
and that's what we're going to see all night long going down in the straightaway here, going down into turn 1. You're going to see drivers getting a big push as we see Hunter as he's going to push Chuck up outside. We're going to have 3 wide going out of turn number 2 here, Zach, down to the Long Pond straightaway.
Down the Long Pond straightaway, here we go into the tunnel turn 3 wide for the second position. It's Cedric Hunter. Hayward backs out of it. He slides back to the third position. And Cedric Hunter there on the bottom, stuck there. He's going to slide up into fourth as Chuck Sweeting took a stranglehold there on the outside and held on the second.
I held on the second there as we go back, and we see 2x2 yet there with Mark Whitley. He's still back there in the Hornet's Nest with Cedric Hunter leading out that front there, and we got who else is back there? Man, we got Brad Delph. We got a whole bunch of cars back here.
Everybody doing battle here early in the laps. They know this is the best time to get it done. Everybody's packed up. This is when you'll be closest to your competition right at the start of these races. And these long straightaways with the big draft is really helping moves be made. There it is. The 81, Steven Stippian. He was our winner last week from California. He's trying to work his way forward. We've seen how strong he's been here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting at the Pocono Raceway, as we expect for that 81 to be moving forward right now. It looks like Hartwell overtakes him on the outside.
Hartwell's going to take him on the outside, and we did see during practice there, Hartwell was up there on the leaderboard, top of the leaderboard during practice there, Zach. So he does have speed in that number 25 Red Bull machine there. Chevy Camaro, I do believe that's what they are. Yeah, you see, I don't even pay attention to what makes are. It's a Chevy.
that it is, Robert. I mean, it is a Camaro. I believe. Yes, it is. So it is a Camaro. So, yeah, it's still the Chevy Camaro, the Ford Mustang, and the Toyota Camry out there on the track. But, big move there. Being made by the one Isaiah Sutherland. Late dive to the inside of 14 of Brad Delph. He takes that position, really charges up forward, and even almost gets a run here on the 13 or the 11 machine up ahead of him. Cedric Hunter. Delph really lost out on that. He might lose 3 spots here. Here's Steven Stippian, but his left foot go to the outside, make the outside work here. Stippian may lose out on this as he's got Dave Bush's teammate, but yeah, left foot goes around the outside, and it just shows you make the move to the inside. If you ain't got the help down there, you're not going forward.
Well, not going forward, but also I just noticed here with on lap number 3 here, Zach, is that draft. It looked like a very key. If you can hook up with somebody, you can move on the high side, go around. If you hook up on the bottom, you can go to the bottom and pass somebody. But it looking like draft is going to be very, very key here tonight.
I think draft is going to be the most vital thing for sure is now. Mark Whitley, he makes a dive to the inside of the 48 of Hunter Hayward down here. So does Isaiah Sutherland on the 11 of Cedric Hunter. Cedric Hunter misses the groove. He bounces up into that lane that has the bumps, and he looks to cover it off, but Brad Delp's coming through the 14. Major check up there, and that just shows you get offline here. You have a major hiccup like that. Isaiah Sutherland overtakes Whitley due to his chance taken there. And man, that just shows you if you ain't got it, it's hard to make the passes.
That is true, man. As we're watching Cedric Hunter right there, he really got loose big time in that Hello Kitty Ford machine there, man. He was loose, and the whole field had to check up on him there, Zach, before, so they didn't run him over. But yeah, I mean, great recovery there. Great recovery for Mark Whitley, as Mark Whitley looks like he's going to fall there in the fifth position right now. But we still got Steven Leffler back here battling with Dave Bush. These guys back here still don't know where they want to be. And, well, now they finally, after I say it, Dave Bush finally works his way around Steven there in that number 72 machine.
I tell you what, Robert, I've found the driver who's making the passes. The driver who's been making the most passes, well, really along with Mark Whitley, is Isaiah Sutherland. That one machine, he's up to third now. He's made multiple moves down in the one. He seems like he's waiting. A lot of times, he's pushes the 75 Chuck Sweet right up to the back bumper of Michael Yara, but he gets really close here out of three once he leaves this corner, and it dives it down here into one, and he's making the drivers take that second groove that's really washing them up the racetrack. So he's figured out how to pass here. We'll see if he can try to make something here happen on Chuck Sweeting. He's driven his way through the field. As even behind there, you even got Mark Whitley. Look to the inside of Hayward. I think he might be in trouble due to the fact that the draft is coming from the outside. As there it is, Sutherland diving to the inside here. He's done this move multiple times. It looks like he'll slide back in, but does he do a late diving maneuver? He elects to not do it this time, and here comes Hayward. Wow, the big head of steam.
Yeah, with Southern there in that number one machine there, from what I'm seeing right now here earlier in this run, he is backing up the corners, letting the car roll through the corners, which helps, save on the tires, and he can get back on the gas without having that dirty air push him towards the wall. So he's playing the dirty air game, because these guys, you can see already, are struggling with the dirty air. The car just wants to slide out towards the wall there, so he's backing it up, but it's starting to look like maybe he burned off his tires a little too fast, or he might be slowing down a little bit to pull the tires down and try to get another run, as he's going to get a run here on Chuck in that number 75, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything with it, Zach, as of right now.
Here he goes. This might be the timing that he likes, though. He likes when it gets checked up like this. Sweeting gets to the back bumper of the 98 there. It slides him up the groove here. Sutherland, he's made that work every other time. This time, though, Chuck Sweeting says, nope, I've got the outside figured out. Sutherland going to have to dip back into third, but he's got a slow run off the corner. Here comes the run for the 48 of Hayward. He's up to the back bumper, elects not to make a move. As you can see right now, our top 11 drivers are all in a straight line. Nobody wants to make a move here, as they do not want to go up that outside groove.
Wow, as we just see, Mark Whitley had to check up, which made Steven Stempian check up. They almost got into each other with great heads up there from that number 81 there. But, yeah, you could just see it. Look at the draft. I mean, the draft is so strong, Zach. I mean, you literally... You're like 6 miles per hour faster than the car in front of you. It's either you do an abrasive move and go by them, or try to go by them, or you get off the gas and hope you don't get run over if you have somebody behind them, as we're going to watch Hartwell here and Brad Delph fight it here going through turn 1 and 2 here. And you're going to see that high side. I think it's going to prevail, as Dave Bush is going to push that 14 down to the Long Pond straightaway.
I tell you what, while all that was transpiring right there, Chuck Sweeting tried to make a move on the leader. Now Isaiah Sutherland to his outside here in the tunnel turn. We'll see what happens here. Chuck Sweeting had the move almost done on the leader of Yara, but Yara was able to get back to the outside quarter panel. This may be a tough time here for Chuck Sweeting, because look at this. Everybody looking at that 75 going, well, this is a free position here, as they're trying to get to the outside of them. It's man, Whitley drives to the outside of Cedric Hunter in the center of the corner there, and that was a daring move there from the 77 as he gets pushed by Stempian.
Yeah, well, Stempian just, like you said, is pushing that 77 there. I don't know, Zach, man. Just watching 9 laps into this already, and I feel like I'm at Talladega. These guys can't get off of each other, and I would have thought with not such an aggressive banking here at Pocono that they would start burning up the tires faster. But right now, I mean, these guys are just all over each other. You got some coming from the front, you got some going to the back, you got some staying in the middle. They're do-si-doing all the way around the track here. So much action going on here tonight. It reminds me of what we had at Auto Club last week. It was just nothing but nail biter, fighting and trying to just, get every scrap and claw and get every position that you possibly could out there.
No, it's definitely like that, Robert. Here with I believe with this package we have at the moment in this car, I believe it's around a 10-inch spoiler on the back of this thing. So it's a pretty giant rear spoiler, which gives you a lot of grip, but also makes a pretty big hole in the air, which is giving these draft runs a big launch. And I think that's what you're seeing right here is just drivers that you got a lot of grip, so you got to use it when you can. If you get checked up at all, it really slows your momentum down. As the lower horsepower here, also 550 horsepower, it's still pretty much a momentum race. And until we get that that upgrade of 670 horsepower, it'll be an interesting time when they add that for sure. And that small rear spoiler that we're also going to have, it'll really change the dynamic of this. But right now, it's all about aero games where you're trying to draft up, but also make a pass when you can. But if you can't get the pass done, that's when you're going backwards. If you can get one position, that is goal made. Is there Steven Stippy? Look, he's going to tip this here. He dives into the inside of not only Mark Whitley, but also Hunter Hayward. But the thing is, look at this. Hayward is still to the outside there. Stippy couldn't clear. He's going to be stuck on the inside now. Cedric Arn may be looking there, but I think he'll probably slide up outside his look. Now Stippy going to drop a position due to that to Chuck Sweeting, and now possibly even Cedric Hunter. Here's where he can slot in above him. It just shows you, if you don't get the move done that you're going to make on the inside, you're going backwards.
Yeah, and now you can see Cedric Hunter says, okay, Steven, if that's where you want to go, I'll push you. Let's try to the inside here. Let's see if we can get two cars hooked up, in a straight line here and see what we can do. Because like you said, it's all about momentum. We can't slow down. Keep the RPMs up. Keep that gas pedal to the floor. Do not lift, and do everything that you possibly can. And eventually these tires are going to start wearing out. Of course, they always do. And that's going to be when we're going to start seeing the field start to separate a little bit. As, wow, we got Yarrow way up out of the groove.
Yeah, Yarrow way up out of the groove, man. He almost gets into the wall there, but I think he's still going to hold on to the spot. Is Sutherland's going to have to drop back. He actually does a little bit of side drive right to the quarter panel. So close with the one there. He's going to drive down here to the toe turn. Can he clear the 98? They know he can. They make contact, and it's going to put Yarrow up in the wall. Here comes Hayward into the mess, and it's going to let Mark Whitley also by. Here comes Chuck Sweeting with the head of steam. Everybody caught up in that, but Isaiah Sutherland and the 98 of Michael Yarrow involved in that, and just right there. That's what you call 2 wide racing down in the tail turn with Sutherland just washing up off the bottom, just getting to the bottom too early.
Yeah, I also call that maybe just a little bit of an aggressive move there. 13 laps into it, side drafting him like that. I know he was trying to slow him down there, Zach, to try to get him, to get around him, but it might have been just a tick too early to do something like that.
Yeah, you want to get that clean air. I think that was the goal of the one, but like you said, that if you're Michael Yarrow, you're not happy about that for sure at all, one bit. You gave him the lane, you gave him the room, and now you're majorly damaged. And I tell you what, those two are actually pretty close to each other on track. I wouldn't expect Michael Yarrow to be the retaliation type. Usually a very clean, respectful driver, but man, that unfortunate for him to get taken out front right there by the one machine. Sutherland was showing aggressive moves all the way up to there. That was the first time that aggressive move bit him as he makes the mistake, washes up the racetrack.
As we ride with Brad Delp here right now, running here in 7th position right now here, as I'm trying to keep an eye on my tickers here, ladies and gentlemen. So it might be a delay of me finding out where we're at, but look at Brad. Wow, look at Dave Bush there. Huge run on the outside, and he's going to work his way around Chuck there. And now Brad Delp is going to try to do it, and that high line looks really racy right now, as he's going to duck down on the inside and try to get the draft off of Cedric Hunter going down the Long Pond straightaway. And we'll see how this all plays out, as Mark Whitley's now stuck on the high side there all by himself, and now he's going to power his way back to the side of Cedric Hunter and try to use the draft. And yep, they come out nose to tail. Man, this has got to be nerve-wracking, Zach. I mean, as a race car driver, you want to race other people, but there's no rest. I mean, these guys literally ain't getting a rest. I mean, If you pass one guy, you have one guy on you. Then you got that guy on you. Then you're drafting up to that guy. I mean, look at this. Look at this draft that they're getting. Like, wow. It's just amazing.
It is huge. As you're out more with Delph, I mean, I tell you what, the power of it is you got Hayward out front. He drops down, gives the draft to Stimpian, who's giving the draft to Cedric Hunter. That puts them three out in front of Mark Whitley. And you know, if you're Mark Whitley, you're just saying, man, if I just had help there, none of that would have happened. But he had no help there on the outside line. That inside line prevailed due to the numbers being down there, and it just shows it's not a line thing that causes that outside line to be, the fastest way around, but that's just where the draft is. You slide up off the corner, where you go? You go up towards the wall, and that's where you're going to begin the draft from the car up ahead, and it's so valuable there as you see the checkups here. I mean, you see how close they get for each other. It's tough to get away, and they're not getting away from each other here tonight. They're going to be up each other's bumpers all night long. Mark Whitley into the wall. That is what you don't want to see. I'm about to check out that front end on that race car, and I tell you what, for hitting the wall, that is about as little damage as you possibly could have, and I don't know if that right there, it could be worse than I can see, but man, if it is damage, it's going to be tougher at 77 to rebound as Delph goes by him here. Now he's going to have Dave Bush and Steven Leffler behind.
Yeah, well, Mark was having a great run. He's going to fall one position back after tapping into the wall, but right now he just needs a good run here tonight. As Dave Bush says, beep beep, I'm coming through. Maybe, nope, he doesn't. But man, he got a big run. But anyways, back to Mark. He doesn't need to win tonight's race, Zach. He literally don't. He just needs a good finish. That's all he needs. He can go into next week and have another good finish and move on to the top four. So, the pressure's on, but, he gets damage like he did here a little bit, and if he compiles that with more damage and starts falling back through the field, then it's going to come down to a win-win situation next week. And that's, you don't want to be in that situation because you're not going to be the only one that's going to be out there trying to get the win to move on to the Final Four. You're going to have other drivers out there that's going to be in the same scenario as you, and you got to, then you got to fight them off plus the rest of the field. So it's not fun. So if I was Mark right now running in fifth position, I'd be like, you know what? I just want to ride here, guys. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, I think if you're Mark, he likes the spot he's in. He wants to be winning this race, as a driver he does. But right here, he's the, really the first playoff driver other than Steven Stippian and Brad Delph. So Steven Stippian already locked into that next round. Brad Delph, though, right now at top of the playoff contenders with Mark Whitley there behind him. They're going to have Chuck Sweeting there in position with Long. And then the next one down would be Larry Blair, Clifton Ashley. No Clifton Ashley. Larry Blair, James Bryant. Believe the next one would be Mike Chamberlain. I'll have to look here too. Also, Yarrow down there, and I believe Koscheck. I believe those are and Cheswick. So right now, I believe it is Koscheck and Cheswick. Right now, that would be the two going home here tonight at the end of this race.
Yeah, they'd be the two as of right now. And then that would put Michael Yarrow in a win-win situation. Again, a situation you do not want to be in. See, as a driver, like you said, Zach, you want to go out and win. Of course, every driver wants to go out and win. But my brain instantly, when I was explaining what if I was Mark, that is the Robert Moyer syndrome that I call of I don't race to win. I race to finish. And maybe that's why I didn't get a lot of wins in my career, racing on iRacing, because I would back off and think of the big picture. And 9 out of 10, the big picture always bit me, where, but that's just the way I was, that's just the way I am.
For sure. I mean, it's definitely a good mentality to have in this style of racing, especially with the every week eliminate two people. That's an interesting style, man. You got to really be on your, any race could be your race to get knocked out here in this style of stuff. So very interesting to see. But I'll tell you what's one of the more interesting things. I believe we can see even on there on the broadcast. I believe with the 48 up front, he's got major right front damage. I think he's holding his pack up right now. I think if the 81 Steven Stippian and the 11 of Cedric Hunter jump out here, get by him, I think that would be the better move for him. It's causing a pretty big stack up. You notice how everybody's all right there. I mean, 8 guys just stacked one on top of each other there entering turn one. That's you usually see a little bit more separation than this, especially 20 laps in. Even though the draft is this strong, you know you'd see a little bit more separation than this. I think that 48 is lacking a little straight line speed, and it's causing everybody to close in right to the back bumper. When Snippian gets up there, I believe he's having the lift, especially.
Yeah. Well, these we go back to teammates though too. We know Hunter and Steven Stempian and Dave Bush there. They're all teammates, and we've seen this in the previous weeks. That team gets hooked up here with the Gen 6 cars. It's hard to pass these guys. They just dominate. They just get out front and they do I call it a Cat 5 domination. Does that sound right, Zach? Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, they get out front, and it's just so hard to pass. And a prime example, we're seeing it tonight. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got Dave Bush back here running in 8th position, but he's still in this line of 8 cars. So I don't see him working his way up through the field. Hopefully he can have a good pit stop, because the woes for David Bush in that 53 is pit stops. He always seems to have a great run until you get to that first pit stop, and then he goes bloop, and then he's out of it. And so let's hope that the team is actually prepared and ready to go, for him to maybe leapfrog some of these guys and get up there with his teammates in draft.
Yeah, Dave Bush is one to watch for sure. Hopefully, it all goes well during those pit stop sequences for him. But it's unfortunate last week what happened to him that took him out of this round. He would have had a chance to possibly tonight to be going on to that next round and even getting into the final round of this whole deal. So, unfortunate for Dave Bush last week what happened, but he can finish out these next 3 races here: Pocono, New Hampshire, and Atlanta, with some pride that he had some good finishes that'll carry him into the next season, that can propel him possibly something even farther here. So good run here tonight can do a lot of things for a driver heading into the next season.
Well, that is correct. And I know with Dave Bush right now, too, he's really liking these next-gen cars. It's fitting his driving style. He's really enjoying them, Zach. And he said multiple times that, it's just his driving style. Now, we heard down there in the pit road there all week and the previous weeks from Mark Whitley in that 77. He's like, these cars are just not there yet. But you got Dave Bush down in pit road going, shut up, Mark. I love them.
Yeah, it's definitely most drivers can air their frustrations definitely out about the car. I myself, I've had my own frustrations with the car, but I tell you what, it's growing. It's a work in progress. It'll grow with time, and I've come to find calling the races of this car is actually really exciting. Personally, I can actually say this. I have not ran oval laps in this car, so I have no clue how it drives. I have no clue with this. I'm just going off experience based from watching the races with these guys,
What?
So they've taught me a lot about them, and hopefully I can use some of that experience going to it when maybe one day I race in one of these things.
Yeah, we'll see Chuck here. He's going to work on the inside here, going down into turn number 1, trying to work around Mark Whitley. Didn't know if that damage, was starting to hinder their Mark, but he's going to power his way back through, and we'll see how this all plays out. As now Chuck is going to fall back, and man, I tell you, it's like Talladega Daytona, guys. You have to be at the right place at the right time. You need friendship, because look at this. He did one little move going down the straightaway, going into turn 1 to try to pass Mark, and didn't make it happen, and now lost 2 positions in a half of the track there, Zach. So, I mean, that's just got to be so frustrating, knowing that you got the speed, the car feels good, it's rotating the way you want it to, but you just can't do nothing with it. The draft is just very, very strong. I'm sorry, but it really is right now.
No, it definitely is super duper strong right now for sure, and it just shows you if you lose it, you go back quickly. So Chuck Sweden there, him and Dave Bush trying to get back up to grasp with it, because they lost a good bit of ground there with that whole ordeal. But now we'll jump back here and check out what's going on this second pack back here. Looks like the 70 of Mike Chamberlain there. He's gonna get passed by the 12 of Kevin Roy there, who got by also Robbie Darnell. So that's 2 spots up for him, the 16th or 14th, sorry.
All right, 14th position. Yeah, we'll see here. And, Now, okay, we're 25 laps into it. What are we looking at fuel run here? Do we have that information here, Zach? On fuel run?
Uh, Fuel, Robert, I would say around 37. I wouldn't see him going to be able to go 40 laps here. So I'm expecting around that 33 mark. 33, 34 is when you'll see him come down. Just to split this race into a two-stopper.
Okay. Well, I'm just looking at this backpack here. If I was them, they are about 6 seconds behind right now, drafting in a big pack here. As we see that number 1 trying to work his way around Ashley there in that number 10 machine. But, you got James Bryant, you got Kevin Roy back here. They're all battling right now for position. But if I was these guys here, I would just get in line, run it to the next, when you have to make that pit stop, and maybe pit a lap or two earlier and see if you can just gain some of that time back, because right now they were 6 seconds behind, and then they're falling. Wait, no, they're actually 11 seconds behind.
Yeah, they're falling further and further back here. So it just shows you battle like this right here, and they lost the draft, and right now their pace is definitely dropped off in this pack here. So it's a tough deal, especially for Isaiah Sutherland there, who was involved in that incident there with the 98 Yarrow, who now, with all that damage, Michael Yarrow is out of the playoffs here.
Yeah, I was
in this position with Robert Cheswick there in 19th. Those two would be the ones to drop here at the end of this thing. So right now, Mark Koschik is about 3 seconds in front of Cheswick for that transfer spot.
Yeah, so right there, that's the battle. The 33 and the 6 are going to be battling all night, and see how that all plays out if nothing else happens up into the front with all these rest of these drivers. But I was looking here just to give a note update, which is I don't know what happened to. We have 2 vehicles has parked it for the night. Paul Cohens did not start the race in that number 51 machine, and Hartwell is out of tonight's event, and I don't know what happened to him there, Zach. He had the fastest car in practice. He was looking good. Was he involved in that Yarrow incident, maybe, or?
Actually, looking at, I believe he just lost connection to the server.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, and actually came back and lost connection again. So internet issues plaguing Brandon Hartwell here tonight after being fastest in practice. So that is a tough break for him, who's a driver who really is needing a good run, to turn his season, multiple seasons around. It's been a while since Brandon Hartwell has won here at SRU.
Very true, very true. Yeah, it's been a while, all the way back to, this is season 11, season 9 maybe it was. I think it was the first season we called races the last time we seen him, and that was in the Gen 6 cars. We would have to go back and look at our notes and the data at the league here, ladies and gentlemen, to get that correct information. But it's been a while, since we seen him out in victory lane here at SRU. So that's unfortunately for him. But back up to the battle in here, as we got 2 people coming in. We got James Bryan and Mark in that 32 and 52 on lap 29. Wow, that is very early, Zach, that they are making a pit stop.
It is really early here, Robert.
Really early.
Yeah, that makes me question if they can make it to this 33 mark. You're so close to being able to make it on 2 stops. If you can't make it on fuel, that's a bad decision in my opinion, because you're just gonna have to make a whole nother pit stop unless they know they can go about 5 laps extra than that window. Then they should be able to squeeze it into where they can make it to 2 stops.
Right. Yeah, because, running this race here, you're going to run it maybe, like you said, they're going to go 5 laps in earlier, but the second stint of this race, they're going to run 5 laps later. So, you can play that game. That is something that you can do, especially at Pocono when it comes down to fuel mileage strategy game. And I don't even know if fuel mileage is going to come into play here at these next-gen cars, but Pocono's known for people, if we stay green, which SRU is known to do, fuel might come in the factor. It might not be about the tires. It might be about saving fuel. And with these guys back here, lap 30 here, Zach. We got Mark Whitley, we got Chuck, all making a pit stop.
This is interesting, Robert. If this is as far as they can go, wow, that makes it an interesting case here where I think this will probably be you seeing pit stops here happen soon. And I don't know why I was doing the math for a 100 lap race, Robert, but I kind of think I was. So actually, this should put them right in the perfect fuel window right here, 31. That's splitting it up into thirds, perfect. So we'll see. They should be looking for 60 to 61 for their next pit stop. So we'll see what happens here. Is I believe the other guys behind them won't be too much longer after that.
Very true. Yeah, these other guys should be soon coming in here very shortly. But I also do want to give a big shout out to everybody out there tuning in on YouTube and chatting away out there with our other colleague there, Brandon Colley, out there chatting it up with Mike and all the rest of the crew out there on YouTube. We do much appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen that are tuning in here tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying tonight's content. And if you are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like button and share this stream out there to your favorite social media platform. The league appreciates it. But back to the action here, like you said, Zach. Now we're going to have to see what these front guys do, as we got Keith coming in. We got Larry coming in. So, as these guys are drafting around here trying to save fuel and everything, the car out front is using up the most gas because he's got to punch through that air. And so he's using more fuel than anybody else. Steven Stempian, Cedric Hunter, Brad Delph. These guys here can run, 3/4 throttle, maybe a little bit more throttle, and save a little bit of fuel. I don't know how much they're going to be able to save. They're not going to be able to save a whole lap, I don't believe, here, as this is a 2-mile track. But every little ounce can come down to coming out of the start-finish line, because we've seen that happen on Wednesday night there with Cedric Hunter at Underdog Racing League. He tried to save it. He came out of the turn at Gateway, turn number 4, and ran out of gas. And there was a big wreck at the start-finish line. He winded up getting 3rd position, but it was a huge wreck by 3 cars going across the start-finish line, and the 4th car flying across the finish line in the air over the catch fence and landed in turn 1. So it was crazy.
Yeah, fuel mileage always makes it a little bit wild here, but I think they'll be good on that. What I'm imagining here, I'm just trying to think, why would you stretch it this far? Why would you go any farther than that 30 point? It'd be kind of pointless, in my opinion, to go past that. But if they can stretch it here for a good bit, maybe they'll be looking to pull off a pit stop very late in this race. So maybe just a splash of fuel, a 2-tire stop, something like that. That'll help make the time up. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see here, Robert. This is definitely a questionable call from the drivers still staying out. I kind of like what Mark Whitley and Chuck Sweeting have done, at least for their sake. They are those two together. But now looking at the lap times, even 54 for Mark Whitley. Last time our leader's 55:38. Mark Whitley, right here, already running, not the quickest times on this set of tires. So right now, even though they're on this brand new set, they can't get the most time out of it. They're about really a half a second slower than what they ran earlier in the race at the same point. So this will be an interesting scenario where, because they're in a smaller pack, they're going to be slower on the newer set of tires here, but they're also faster on the newer set of tires than the drivers that are out here. So It's going to be a weird scenario here, I think, when they all come out of pits. They'll be a little bit behind, I think, Mark Williams and Chuck Sweeting, but how fast can they gobble them up?
Well, that's going to be the key here, because we're still waiting for these front pack here of Hunter, Steven Stempian, Cedric Hunter, Brad Delph. All these guys here have not made a pit stop yet, Zach, and that just questions in me why, these guys here on lap 34, lap 35 here of 90, and they're still out there plugging away at it, and we had these other drivers come down on lap 29 and lap 30, making such an early pit stop. I mean, I guess, my thinking, I don't know, I could be totally wrong with this here, but my thinking could be that they wanted out of that big draft, that big draft pack, and they wanted to get 2 cars. Not saying it's faster, but maybe it's safer. You know what I mean? Just have a 2-car draft, and instead of having a whole bunch of cars up over top of each other constantly. I mean, I'm just sitting back here trying to think of the strategy of that call when these guys are still out here. Won't that come back and bite them?
I think they were thinking the old style strategy. But they didn't think these guys were going to go too off the wall like this. So I think that's kind of definitely going to throw an interesting curveball into this, especially because the leaders are running great lap times. I mean,
Yeah.
last time by Hunter Hayward, 55:29. Mark Woodley, he's only running about a second quicker. I mean, that's faster. But at the end of the day, I mean, it should be a good bit more quicker. Usually you're looking at, a second and a half, 2 seconds of fall off. Right now, the leaders, the laps they're turning is not that big a difference. When they come back out on the track, they're going to really be able to use those new tires, and you're going to see the times really jump up from them once they start to close down back that lead.
Well, most definitely, yeah. These guys here are gonna, Mark Whitley, Chuck Sweeney, they're gonna maybe get ahead of them. I mean, they're running a second faster. These guys should be looking at pit road here very shortly. I mean, they got to be this lap, Zach, or next lap here coming in. So we'll have to see that out lap, how good it was as we definitely, whoa, hang on to it there. The number 44 of Robbie Darnell got loose. A lap down vehicle got down on that apron there through the tunnel turn and almost spun it around.
Yeah, you get on that apron there, and that thing will get de-wedged and get very, very loose there in that flat corner, and Darnell barely saves it there. So you got Jason Adams behind him. I believe they're on newer tires, so they're trying to go buy this back here on the older set of tires, but right now they are right in the middle of this mix with Mark Williams, Chuck Sweeney, 35 seconds back from the lead. We'll have to question when these leaders start to come in, Robert, but I'm personally at this point, I don't really know when they're going to come in, so I guess what that time is. We're just going to head to a commercial break here. Our first one of the night here is this group of leaders up front look to head to pit stops here. We'll watch them side by side and see if it unfolds while we're under commercial or when it happens when we get back. We'll be right back to everybody.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with SRU Racing here, Racing League at Pocono Raceway here. And man, as we went under commercial break here, we actually had a yellow come out. Unfortunately here, let's see if we can bring this up here as it looked like the guy that we were talking about, hopefully having a good race here. Unfortunately, Dave Bush was involved into this one. We're not exactly sure what happened here. We can watch here on a freaky fast instant replay here as he's coming out of number turn. Let's see where he's at. Oh, he just gets loose, and it looks like he's coming out of turn one, and that thing Wow. I don't know what happened there, Zach. That thing just out of the blue just snapped on him.
Yeah, looking at that, it looks like that was right. Um, was right after he hit pit road. I believe so. That's a tough deal for him there. It could yeah, it was right after he hit pit road. Right? I think that was just cold tires, man.
Old tires. Well, as we went to commercial break too, Zach, these guys, the front pack leaders came down pit road. They were coming down pit road when the yellow came out. So Hunter Hayward stayed in pit road for an extra extended time and got his damage fixed. Probably got that all fixed up and letting the crew beat and bang and pull some sheet metal out on that machine there. But the strategy now is basically thrown out of the window. Everything that everybody was working for with that yellow coming out, that's out the window right
Yeah,
now.
this has really changed things up, especially for the case of Mark Whitley. He decides not to pit, so he's staying out on the older tires. He's gonna be possibly in trouble. Chuck Sweeting, he says, "Nope, I'm coming down, Mark. Sorry, we both pitted early, but I'm gonna need the new tires here with these guys." So Chuck Sweeting's already took 2 sets of tires here tonight. So now he's only going to be down to 1 set left, which is what he needs to get to the end of this race. There's a 1 stop to the end. So if it plays out green for Chuck Sweeting, which we've already seen a long green flag run up to this point, it could very well work out for him. Mark Whitley, his case, he's hoping for a caution. He's saving that extra set there just in case we have another caution late in this race. But for Cedric Hunter, Steven Stippy, Steven Leffler, and Hunter Hayward, who all hit pit road there as the caution came out, that couldn't have been better timed for them. That was like the perfect time pit stop. They literally did their pit stop, and they're back out on the racetrack, and they don't even have to come back down when the caution comes. So it all worked out really, really good for them, and they're in a perfect spot with still 2 sets of tires left in their pit box.
That is correct. So we'll see how this all plays out here as we're on lap number 41 of 90 here. Hopefully everybody's enjoying tonight's content here with SRU and Robert A. Moyer up in the booth here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with Zach Hall, calling all the action here tonight for you here as we are going to go around one more time. I do the pace lights should be going out this time around. We'll have to see here as we get ready to go down into turn number 1. And that is correct, Zach. Lights are out. They're going to get double file here. And we've seen at the start of the race how crazy this can get. Now, here comes the question is how crazy is it going to get now here? Because you got to remember, we're going to have drivers that are still battling, for that championship. So every position counts. And, you got to give a shout out to definitely one driver, and that would be Michael Yarrow right now. What a bounce back he has. He got into that late, up into the wall. And he's done nothing but battle back, though. You got to give him credit. He's still out there battling in 19th position, though. I mean, anything can happen. Every spot means something.
That it does, and he's got James Bryant right ahead, who is another playoff contender, and also Mark Koscheck not too far ahead in the 16th position. So that's the 2 playoff guys. If he can get in front of both of them, he takes himself out of that danger zone that cuts him here after tonight's race. But yeah, it's such a tough position. He was leading this race, got that contact from the 1 machine, and has put him in a spot he definitely doesn't want to be. Hopefully, he got that car worked on a little bit under this caution, but this is definitely going to be shooken up. We're going to have Mark Whitley up front here in the position in the 77 machine on an older set of tires, about 9 to 10 laps here. Older tires than the 11, the 81, and the 72 machine right here up front. It's going to be a wild start here, back to racing here. Remember, tonight is 10 playoff drivers entering here. 8 are going to leave with a shot when we enter to New Hampshire next week. It's going to be wild here as we eliminate another 2 drivers. Right now, it's Michael Yarrow. It's James Bryant on that cut line. They're looking to move their way up, but we're going back. Green flag races. The green flag waves in the air, and Mark Whitley on the gas. Good start along with Cedric Hunter. Looks like Whitley having problems getting going. Looks like Hunter will actually pull a nose ahead here as we head down the 1.
Guys, head down the 1, and you can see them all fanning out, snaking like they like to call it here at Pocono. Everybody trying to get that draft, trying to work their way around here as we got side-by-side battle with Mark Whitley and Hunter here working it outside, and it looks like Steven Stempion's going to stick on the outside, and Mark has no friends unfortunately, right now, and he is gonna drop like a rock right now as he's gonna try to get back in line or try to say, somebody please let me back in line. But right now, everybody's on the outside saying, nope, Mark, you're going to the back.
Yeah, he's going backwards here. Those older set of tires, not only that, but also on the bottom line. It'll be what's going to be interesting is how well he can hang on here. If he can hang on decently well, make it to the pit stops, he's still got a shot for this thing. But if he drops back multiple seconds, loses, grasp of the lead draft up front, as you see Steve Stiffy push center cutter for that lead position. I tell you what, Mark Willie's going to be in a danger zone if that happens. But right now, in a good spot still, but as we hop on board with the 24 machine.
As we watch 24 of Jason Adams here, running back here right now in 12th position, right outside the top 10, having a good run here. And we'll see going down the back stretch here, going ready to go into the tunnel turn. He's going to be fighting. And yeah, he looks pretty clean, just nice and steady. See, and that's the way you want to do it right there. Because it's all about the gas too, Zach. I mean, you get on that gas pedal too soon, and we know how the dirty air plays a factor into these cars. You know, you get back on that gas pedal too soon, it's just going to push it. And right there, you can see it. He got back on the gas. He caught part of that dirty air from the 12, and it just slid him up out of turn number 3 there towards the outside wall. But he saves it, though.
It's so tough to follow in these things, man. You lose the nose so easily. You got to underdrive everything when you're in that draft and just try to break even and get the draft on the straightaways. Is again Adam sliding up towards the wall. But I tell you what, Mark Whitley hanging on strong still there in the 7th spot. There you got behind that Larry Blair, Chuck Sweeting battling with the 44 also, I believe there. Or no, sorry, I believe that's the 10 of Clifton Ashley there. So yeah, Sweeting makes the position on the 10 machine. Now he's got Larry Blair up ahead of him directly. We'll see what he can do from there. He took a new set of tires.
See what Chuck can do right now in that Gator racing machine there, and he's just slowly doing his thing, and that's Chuck, man. We've seen him multiple leagues. We've seen him race. We raced against him personally, and he's just one of them cool cat drivers like a Steven Stempian. You know, it just lays back, does his thing. You know, but when it comes towards the end with 10 laps to go, look out, because then it's like a wolf came out of him, and he's out there ready to pounce and do what he needs to do.
No, for sure. Both those drivers very similar in that stature for sure. But Sweeting trying to get it done here. This is a tough move to make without the draft. We'll see what he can do here in the tunnel turn. He's going to have the advantage here on the bottom of that 73. Not giving him the easiest time there. Puts it on the door. And that, man, the 75 gets checked up there. He's got the help of Clifton Ashley. A little push here down into the 3. Can he make it work here on the bottom? I think this will be a little bit easier spot than turn 2, actually, to hold the inside line. Yes, he does clear him. Chuck Sweeting past the 73 Larry Blair, now up to that 8th spot. See if he can catch on up here to the 3 Kyle Heath, who's now Mark Whitley has disposed of.
Yeah, that's somebody we haven't talked about all night there in that Aflac machine. Where's the duck, ladies and gentlemen? Well, he's out here running right now in 7th position, looking very strong. Haven't talked about him all night. He's just patiently doing his thing right now. As you can see, very courtesy, getting out of the way, letting the playoff driver go on by, and he's going to come back up in line, and he's going to try to follow along. But it looks like that machine right now, Zach, is not. It looks like it's handling nice, but it doesn't got the speed like everybody else right now. So I do believe he is struggling with something in that machine right now.
Yeah, he's having a tough time with it here as he's dropping back spots. Is Sweeting now up to the back bumper of Mark Whitley. He should be able to clear the 77 with the newer tires. Who you can see, look at there's the group of new tires up front from that 5th position all the way back to Brad Delph. Then back to Mark Whitley is the older set of tires, and you can see that's the disparity between the speeds, and that's the tough thing to make up. Is Chuck Sweeting? He's got the newer tires, but you know he's got these things. Man, I just didn't get the traffic in time to be able to catch up with that lead pack. It's gonna be a tough time for him to catch up to them.
Well, looking at the last lap times right now, Mark Whitley ran a 54.83 to the leaders 54.27, 2s and 3s. So yeah, he's off a little bit, but like you said, the question is we have to pay attention as this run goes longer. How does that all play out for him? Because Mark is the type of driver that he's always throwing, and you'll hear it in his interviews all the time as Chuck's going to look up underneath him here, Zach. He's always the one that he throws the monkey wrench to the wall, and he's always trying to do something outrageously. Either he always has an extra set of tires for the end of the race, or he's doesn't pit when everybody else does, which will give him that extra set of tires. He's always doing something to try to win the race. Like, he's not afraid to gamble, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No, I completely agree with you. I think that's something that we've known him for. He's does the off the wall strategies, kind of puts you in a scenario where if it plays out a certain way, he's gonna be sitting really, really good off, or he's gonna be sitting not well off at all. So you get these really peaks and valleys of finishes with him. You'll get a win, and then sometimes the strategy just wasn't there that night, and it'll push them farther back. So, unfortunately, that's the way it plays out for you when it's like that. But man, gotta give him credit for always trying something. He never gives up, and he's always going for the win in that 7-second.
Well, that too, yeah. And if he gets a late break yellow or something, then he looks like a hero. Yeah, everybody else is like, oh crap, and he looks like the hero.
That's exactly how it plays out, man. It's the way the drivers have coined it out there, I guess, is we call it the tire lottery. Sometimes you win the tire lottery, sometimes you lose the tire lottery. I don't like to play the tire lottery a lot. It can get definitely a little bit interesting. It can work for you, and then half the time, in my opinion, it doesn't work. So it's always an interesting game playing those tire limits, and it's something iRacing has added that has really always you always got a thought now to when to come down pit road, whereas before we were saying, nope, I'm coming to get 4 fresh ones.
That's very true. And just give an update with Dave Bush. When we seen him spin around, Zach, he actually blew a motor. Unfortunately, his motor popped, and that's going to put Dave Bush out of tonight's race, and it looks like he's going to round out tonight. Unfortunately, in 20th position, and the past 2 weeks it's just not his past 2 weeks here right now. He's hopefully not going into that slump that we don't like to talk about when it's racing, because, racing is by inches. And, when you get stuff like this that happens, you start beating yourself up, and it becomes a mental game for a lot of these drivers. And you got to just sit back and go, you know what? It is what it is. I got next week. Let's go at it and see what I can do.
Oh, the mental hurdle of racing is always interesting when you get yourself in these positions, like you said, Robert. I mean, it's easy to just stay in that area and just keep doing that. Well, beating yourself up, and it almost gets worse off when that happens. So yeah, it's always a tough thing, man. It's a mental hurdle for sure, but these drivers have shown ways to get out of it before. So never say never, as drivers. They can evolve right in front of your eyes, and the ones that are struggling the most in the next couple builds, they could be the one that is very much looking like the one to beat. So it's fun to see that evolution and growth between the driving community and just between the leagues. So shout out to all the drivers out there. But right now, 52 of 90 here, Robert. It's a single file lineup here in front. Cedric Hunter still holding position. As they look at this. 40 Hayward, he looks to make position, and look at Steven Stippy, and he says, I want him with us, because guess what? That's going to give them a three-way, breakaway kind of with the teams there. So that gives them that thing that we've seen with Smoke Inc., where they formulate 3 drivers up front in this package, and it's tough to beat 3 of them.
Well, Cedric Hunter's seen that coming, and he instantly, no hesitation, dropped down and picked up Steven Stempion's draft, and he said, oh no, I want to ride with you guys. And I wouldn't be surprised that these guys, his pit crew from Steven Stempion, Hunter Hayward, and Cedric Hunter, they're probably all coordinating down there going, look, we'll just follow you, let's just do this and do that and just ride, because that was the key last week, when at Auto Club. And it all seemed to work out very well for Steven Stempion, of course, as he brought home the win. But, a lot of drivers right now are just trying to figure out, what can we do with this Smoke Inc. team right now? They just, in the past month, have picked up the game and has ran off with it. And, eventually, hopefully that luckiness dies off. But, you got to figure it out and try to figure out what they're doing and they just got it figured out right now in these next gen cars. And like you said, the next build that comes out in iRacing, we're gonna have the 670 horsepower. Let iRacing do what they need to do with it and with what NASCAR gives us. And this all could change. They could struggle with more horsepower. A lot of those, okay, Zach, let's go into the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. You got some drivers that like the lower horsepower package like we're running here tonight. Then you got other drivers that like the higher horse package, 750, 800, 900 horses, loosens up the car, get the back wheel, you're driving it with, so you got drivers that like it in a certain way, and you got drivers that like it in another way. So you got drivers back and forth, ladies and gentlemen. The ones down at the bottom has got to figure out how to drive the fast cars up at the top with the horsepower, and then the guys that are up at the top normally struggle with the lower horsepower because they can't get away from nobody. So it's not that they're not struggling for speed, it's just they can't get away from nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough when you don't have the throttle response of the higher horsepower. And I was watching that battle for third. That's a wild race there. As Leffler's trying to get it back from the 48 to Hayward, who that's something that the 81 Steve, I think 81 Steve Stippian doesn't want to see, because he wants to see that 48 behind him for the help here coming down the end against that 11 machine here. But yeah, I mean, if I could have a choice, I'd want 1,000 horsepower probably.
No,
but,
yeah.
It's just, you never know with this things, man.
Then that's why you need to go drive dirt, Zach.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would enjoy that, but it's just one of those things.
Wait, yeah. I'm not good with dirt, but it's got 1,000 horsepower. See? Wait, didn't I just explain that?
Yeah. I mean, I personally feel like I thrive more as the 750 package. When we switch from the 550 with the other Cup car, when that changes, from short track to bigger tracks, to intermediate tracks. So, I'm all for more horsepower. The more off throttle time, in my opinion, the better. The more speed you can slow down in the corner. Personally, I like to see the speeds drop at least 30 to 40 mile an hour to the center of the corner.
Wow.
Right now, in my opinion, I think the speeds only drop 15, maybe 20 mile an hour. So, you're carrying a lot of speed from entry to center. There's not a lot of fall off there. So it's very much momentum-based style racing, which is good. It sets up for, racing that a lot of people have a chance. It gives a different style racing. It's just a little bit more different. Personally, from my side of the view, it's frustrating. Like you said, you can't get away. You can't, separate yourself from your competition. But I tell you what, this right here is a little bit more nerve-wracking also. It's a little more mental, kind of a chess game. So it both got their aspects, man, but I just would love to see these things full of horsepower, a little small spoiler, which is what we're having. I mean, 670, that's still a lower amount, in my opinion, than what we should have.
But it's better than 550.
But it's better than 550. And that that really small spoiler, and just from what we've heard from the drivers driving already, the next gen car, about how tough it is. So that's the one thing that excites me most. You want it to be a tough time. You want it to be able to actually have that skill gap there that you can have. So sometimes people don't like races that have a driver that dominates. It happens in those packages, and like what I say at the end of the day, that's racing for you.
Amen on that. I have to agree with you there, Zach. As now we see Hunter finally getting back up to his teammate there, Steven Stempian, and I'm sure they're trying to figure out how to get around Cedric Hunter. Eventually, they're going to have to figure out how to do this. Now, do they do it on a pit stop, or do they try to do it on the track and leave that number 11 hang out wide? Because I don't see them pushing him to a win. I don't see it, and Steven Stempian, like we said, he's already locked into the top 4, so he doesn't have to worry about it. But right now, you got to give Brad Delp a big shout out right now. He's up here running in third position right now with Stephen Leffler all over the back bumper of him, and he's out there looking pretty good. But also, you got back there now. What are we looking at? Where's Mark Whitley? In 7th and 8th position. You got Chuck running in 6th, and Mark Whitley in 7th. And, you brought it up when we went back to green there, Zach, how Mark's going to handle this with these older tires. And I have to give him, he's 10 laps better on tires, or less tires. Let me re-say that, ladies and gentlemen. Ashley is got 10 lap better tires than Mark Whitley. And Mark Whitley is holding his ground, so this is actually looking good for that number 77 right now.
He's had the kind of the benefit of Chuck Sweeting kind of pulling them around. Chuck Sweeting's on those newer tires, and he couldn't get away with them just because he had no draft to draft off in front of him. So the tires start to even out with this package, especially, and not a lot of fall off. So tire advantage doesn't become as big a deal anymore. He's definitely I don't think you'd see Mark Whitley be able to get around Chuck Sweeting, but he's able to hang on, and that's the biggest thing that's keeping him here about 5 seconds back from the lead of Cedric Hunter. But that 5-car breakaway is what really has set all this up. And here with about 30 to go here now, this next lap when we complete it, it's right inside the fuel window for these drivers to pit. We'll see if they do hit pit road, but that's going to separate everybody here for sure. Is if they hit pit roads at different times, it's going to really separate it.
Well, they went 39. They pitted on lap 39. Their first stint, Steven Stempian and all them, they ran about 40 laps, Zach. I think it was like 39 laps they went on fuel when they came down. Because our yellow, so they ran about 38 laps, 38 laps, because our yellow was on lap 39 when Dave Bush blew his motor, unfortunately. So looking at all this, we should see we got somebody that just blinked out and came back. Not sure who that was. Sorry about that camera view there, ladies and gentlemen, but I think about 10 to go. Some of these guys might run this until, you get around lap 80.
It's possible for them to do that, actually. So we'll see if they want to stretch it that far, Robert. I'm saying right here, maybe 20 to go, 25 to go is when you'll start seeing a lot of these guys hit pit road.
Right.
Just to play it on the safer side and also give them enough fuel if we do get a green, white checker, because we're probably not going to be coming down if it's a late run to the end just due to how, little fall off there is.
Right. Well, and you want to get the maximum amount of your tires, too. You're going to put a new set of tires on 4 tires. You definitely want to try to get the maximum. And with 10 laps to go, I don't know, 2-mile track, I don't think you still can get the maximum out of your tires. So, I have to agree with you. And what I think is going to happen here is we stay green here, Zach. It's going to be who's going to be that first one to make that call. Somebody's got to go in. Everybody's not going to, it's going to be playing a chess game. You're going to be making that first move. Who's going to make that first move? Who's going to be the one that goes down pit road? Because the minute you go down, trust me, everybody out there racing, they got live timing up on their screen. They see tickers. They see everything that we basically see, maybe in a different format or a different software, but they know when that person's making a pit stop. And then some of these drivers could have a pit crew driver or, actually a spotter in their ear telling them what's going on and how much gas to save, and this is what you're getting out of fuel too. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's any out there doing that here tonight, but that's a possibility.
It does. Like Brad Delph looks like he has a spotter there, so
okay.
we can see Brad Delph getting some extra information for sure. So he's now got his way up the 4th past Steven Leffler. So a great run again for Brad Delph here as he's worked his way up to that spot. But Steven Leffler, just good to see him back here consistently in the league, man. It's the 22Q Family Foundation race, and that's his primary sponsor. So, and he also is the other primary sponsor here, Budget Simbox is here at the league. So, Steven is a big factor in this league, man. One of the main admins here, and the guy who really, sets things up. And he was away for us for a long time there, and we were glad so much to have him back in the 72 and running good here in the top 5, man.
Yeah. Well, as these guys here on lap number 63, we see the freight train going on. Well, me and Zach here are going to quick run to another commercial break as we got to pay some of our bills, ladies and gentlemen. So we will be right back here with the final laps here at SRU Sim Racing Unleashed here at Pocono Raceway. Stay tuned for the action here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We will be right back after this quick word from our proud sponsors.
All right, we're back here, everybody, here at Sim Racing Unleashes Cup Series. We're 68 laps into our 90 laps here for the 22Q Family Foundation 225 here at the Pocono Raceway. Looks like Cedric Hunter out front here with Steven Stippian still in the second position. Hunter Hayward up the third. Brad Dell fourth. And Steven Leffler, your top five, as they've broken away to about a 8-second lead. But it looks like pit stops have transpired. Mark Whitley and Chuck Sweeting, looks like they may have teamed up here a little bit, Robert, and done pit road together again. They're 30 or 43 seconds back from our leaders. I believe that's within range almost of if these leaders pit now, they come out around them.
That's what's ready to say, Zach. Here they are again. They tried it earlier, and the yellow came out. Didn't work out the way they wanted it to, but here we are again here. Now we'll see if these guys can make it work for them, this time around here. Round number 2 of the heavyweight battling going on right now here, as these guys are still all over each other. And no one's left each other. They're still literally Cedric Hunter. Got Steven Stempien running there in second with Hunter Hayward in third, with Brad Delth having a great run there. And then you got to give a big look at Christian Ashley there in that number 10. Kevin Roy in the 7th position. Jason Adams, ladies and gentlemen, in 8th position. He is a playoff driver, I do believe. Correct, Zach?
No, he got knocked out last week, Robert. So, unfortunately, he's out of this. Right now, it would be, looking at Larry Blair and Mark Koscheck right now are the two that would be on the outside looking in, and Mike Chamberlain there in 15th right now in the 15th position. So those are the bottom 3, and then Chuck Sweeting's there in 14th along with Mark Whitley. So right now from the 11th, or really from the 10th position on back all the way to 17th, those are all playoff contenders.
Wow. Well, we were talking a whole bunch about the front runners, with the top 3 basically all race. But where this is all going to play out now, Zach, is it's going to be, back here running in 10th, 11th, 12th, all the way down to 15th, maybe even 20th position. These playoff drivers, they're going to be clawing and banging, for that one position could make them advance to the next round, or, possibly not. I mean, they still got one more race to go. So, but you still got to fight for every position. If you can pass that one playoff driver that's in front of you as a playoff driver and pass them, that helps. It helps big time in the points, and all that stuff. So,
yeah, and I tell you what, they just hit pit road up front. Cedric Hunter, Steven Stippian, Hunter Hayward, Steven Leffler, and Brad Delphin. I tell you what, Steven Leffler, he got out first there. What a stop from him. I think that might have been just a 2-tire stop there from the 72 machine as he gets track position over the 11 machine, and we'll see exactly where they come out. And I tell you what, they came out right beside Mark Whitley and Chuck Sweeting right in the mix of this. This is going to get a little mixy here around that position there, around the 72 of Steven Leffler.
We'll see Steven Leffler. He's out here all by himself right now. He does got Mark Whitley catching up to him here. You got Chuck, drafting with Mark, and I do believe, we're going to see them eventually catch, Leffler. But we'll see what Leffler can do here, as he should be making a pit stop here, too, very shortly. No, Leffler did pit on lap 70. Okay, my bad. I was looking at something else. So, okay, so the top 2 right now have not pitted. James Bryant and Yarrow have not came down pit road there, like you were saying there, Zach.
Yeah, we'll have to see when they come down, right down there directly in front of our leaders. So we'll see how that plays out. They're 2 playoff contenders also, so they got to be watching out there. Also, they got the one of Isaiah Sutherland there, who is 1 lap down, first car lap down. So if caution was to come out right now, he would get back on that lead lap. But at the moment, James Bryant leads the way, but Steven Leffler, the first car on new tires. Mark Whitley and Chuck Sweeting behind him. They're on a new set of tires also. But then Cedric Hunter, Steven Stippian, and Hunter Hayward, those are the 3 that are on 4 fresh ones. Where the 72 of Leffler, he just took 2.
Well, he's the one that always does that kind of stuff. He's always the one that's going to take 2 tires and make the gamble. I don't know if it's going to play off for him, though, but you can see him now trying to work his way around James Bryant here. And he should be able to get him going down into turn 1 and 2 here. He should give him room, and gives him room, and the rest of that freight train's going to follow him as Mark Whitley, Chuck Sweeney's gonna try to work his way around out number 2 here. And now we got the leaders here, like you said, Zach. We got Steven Leffler, Mark Whitley. He's got Chuck, James Bryant. Still needs to make a pit stop yet. But then all the way back in 5th position is gonna be Cedric Hunter and this crew that stayed out a little longer. And they're working their way through the traffic, but they're definitely coming ahead of steam right now. Look out. They are going to catch them in a heartbeat because Cedric Hunter's right on the back of Chuck already.
Yeah, they're really coming quickly. Leffler's on the 2 tires, so we'll see how those work. But the advantage on tires here is going to definitely be to that 11, that 81 and 48 is the 77 and the 75. They had already hit pit road multiple laps before them. They were backwards almost 6 seconds back on this group. But remember, these tires are coming out quickly. If they can just battle these guys for just a little bit, hold them up, make them use their tires a little bit, we could see them hang on. And right now, they're not even making that much headway. Right now, they're trying to go by Chuck Sweeting, and it's tough. They all got to line up like they are doing right here and try to be a group to do this.
Kids, they're going to stay in the group, but now the question comes here is Cedric Hunter starting to pull away from Steven Stempien a little bit there. What would you do if you're Mark Whitley there, Zach? My game plan would be to try to latch on with them guys, is what I would do.
Yeah, that could very well be the game plan. I know Mark Whitley's going to be trying to go for the win here. He wants to win it. I think in the position he's in, though, it's a no-brainer that he's not going to be able to hold these guys off. They got the teamwork. He doesn't have the amount of people to help him. You can see there's Cedric Hunter already making the move. And, yeah, that was a nice, clean, surgical pass there from Cedric Hunter, who now put Whitley in between him and Steven Stempien. So that helps a lot. But, look, he's going to drop low here, try to get the draft. Look at this. Whitley says, nope, that's not going to happen. They're going to cut back and forth. It's the dicing left and right moments here off of the back straightaway here as they head down the 2. And right now, Leffler is like what he's seeing. We'll see how the 2 tires hang on for that machine. But right now, he's going to have that group of 3 that's been working together all night. The 11, the 81, and the 48 looking to go by the 77, and they're going to be lined up in a good spot. Look at Cedric Hunter trying not to give the dirty air, even goes high there. That shows you how much they're trying to get lined up and work together. Now he drops low to give the draft, and the 48 pushes the 81. And, Mark Whitley is just got to sit there saying, well, that's unfortunate. There's nothing he can do there. There's nothing he can do. That's 3 cars versus 1.
Very true, very true. And, most definitely, you know what the other thing about this whole thing is? Yeah, we heard it last week in the interview with Steven Stempien. He's like, look, guys, I might be in the top 4, but I'm not looking at it that way. I'm going to go out and I'm going to battle. I'm going to go for the win, and I am going to fight, just like if I wasn't in the top 4. And you can see it right now out here at Pocono. He is dicing, he's slicing, he's going all the way around. But at the end of the day, if something would happen, really no harm, no foul. I mean, yeah, it might ruin some other people's races, but for him, well, why not, right? I mean, what do you got to lose?
I mean, that's very true.
Right?
For really the front 4, there is nothing to lose. The 2 that have the most to lose is Mark Whitley there in the 77 and the 75 Chuck Sweeting, which, if I'm them 2, I just want this thing to go green and ride right where we're at. Because, man, I'm telling you what, it is in their best interest to finish right there. Because right now, it would be Robert Cheswick on the outside looking in, along with Michael Yarrow. Oh, man, he is a good ways back from Koscheck and much slower, too. So he is going to be in a tough predicament to try to get his way through. But, yeah, the 98 and the 6 machine right now on the outside looking in when it comes to those top 10 playoff standings.
Brad Delph, he was up here running with these guys here, and unfortunately, it looks like he has fallen back a little bit here. He is now all by himself, 6 seconds behind. Not sure what happened to him. Maybe something going down pit road. Let's see what his pit stop. No, his pit stops look pretty good. Oh, no, his pit lane was pretty bad. He had a 52.7 from start to finish, Zach, compared to everybody's 50s and 47s and, stuff like that. So, yeah, he had something either going too slow down pit road or had to get held up maybe by not running into another vehicle coming down pit road.
Yeah, he had a mistake on pit road there for sure. He lost time, and that was exactly where it was all lost. believe when he came out, he was about 2 seconds behind the group that pitted ahead of him. So lost about 2 seconds there to that group, and that's all it takes. You lose the draft, Robert, and you're out of the picture very, very quickly. And right now, Brad Delph, he's hoping for some type of caution. He's probably not most likely even going to catch up to Chuck Sweeting or Mark Willey, who right now have hung on pretty well to the drivers up ahead of them.
Yeah, that and Steven Stempian, I think taking the 2 tires was a strategy call. Looks like it's not going to play out, but you know what else I noticed here? Hunter Hayward is, was up there running with Zach Hall. Yeah, he's up there running with Zach Hall. Blah. Cedric Hunter and Steven Stempian, but he has fallen back a little bit here in 4th position. I know he had a little bit of damage. I know he stayed in under that first yellow and got that, damage fixed, but I think it's still hindering him a little bit. I don't think that car's completely up to snuff the way it should be.
Yeah, I don't think so either, Robert. You get a little bit of damage, and that stuff happens very easily. It's heating up here, though, now. Man, I tell you what, the 72 Steven Leffler there, beating him, almost banging there with the 48 of Hayward, who's now took that 3rd spot. This is what the 81 wants to see. If I'm the 11 Cedric Hunter, I know they have like a little alliance and, teamwork going on there together with them too. But, when it comes down to it, I think that 48 sticks to the back bumper of the 81. He pushes him by the 11. If I'm Cedric Hunter, I'm almost a sitting duck, and he's having to plan here. How can I stop a run for them? How can I do this where they don't get a big run on me and they don't push past me? So that's going to come down to Cedric Hunter's hands down here. And if I'm Steven Leffler, I think I know that's going to happen. I think he's got to take advantage of that and possibly go high around the outside of it.
That's what I was just ready to say. Instead of trying to maybe try to do the fake move on the inside and try to outsmart him and then go on the outside and see, because all he has to do is get that front quarter panel of that car, on the inside or the outside of that Cedric Hunter's vehicle. And that spotter's going to start saying car outside. And, Hunter's going to latch onto him. And, as that's happening, what does Steven Leffler do? Does he hop down and try to help Cedric Hunter? I just think we're going to see this for the next 10 laps, ladies and gentlemen, single file. No one's going to be really battling. I think it's all going to come down to the very last lap. It's going to be coming down to the very last turn of tonight's event is where you're going to see cars going left and right. And I wouldn't be surprised that we'll have a 3-wide battle, going across the start-finish line. I see the future.
Well, Robert, you can see that happening. We got something pretty coming for sure. And I tell you what's trying to change this up is Cedric Hunter here. He's come up on the back of James Bryant, I believe, is the 52 here, the last car on the lead lap. Here they all go to the inside. Now they're all going to go by him. I didn't know if they were going to get stuck behind him for a corner, but looks like they will go by that 52 machine. But that could have also an interesting effect here. Who does he push coming down to the end? Who does Mark Willey? Who does Chuck Sweeting go with? If the 40 and 81 make the move, which I expect on the 11, who's going to be the driver that makes the move to try to, help them to?
Good question. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just watching single file right now. As you can see, James Bryant pushing Hunter Hayward. All he's got, and that's a lap down car, and it's a playoff car yet on top of that. And look at him. Oh, hang on. I think that's just a little bit too aggressive there, sir.
Yeah, I'd imagine these lead lap cars ain't too happy about that. The 52, he's in playoff contention here right now. You're above. You're in a good spot, man. You're literally the one position above Michael Yarrow, who's is directly behind you, but
yeah,
he's got a lot of damage. He's a lot slower. If you just hang on to the back of this pack here and ride, you're in a good spot. But right now, he's taking a chance of getting himself taken out of this race. And if you get taken out right here, I mean, that's just on his own fault.
Yeah, well, and then your playoffs, everything you worked for all year is gone out the window. So, it comes down to, again, driving, and we talk about aggressive driving, every now and then. But, you got to just think smart. Sometimes it's smarter not to race aggressive, and that's the Robert Moyer syndrome. And just do what you need to do and just get out of here and go on to next week and see what you can do. Like you said, you're already in the playoffs. they're up in the playoffs as he's blocking Mark there. Mark's trying to figure out how to get around them. And if I was Mark, there's no point in trying to battle now. I mean, if 7 laps to go, I would just finish where you're at and move on to next week.
Yeah, Mark got major nose damage just from that hit right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's showing that yeah, he might not want to play with that lap car there at James Bryan, who's yeah, I personally just not making the greatest decisions. I mean, why I don't see you're not gaining nothing right here. You're the first car lap down. If you're involved in a yellow here or make an incident with these guys, you're gonna be public enemy number one, first of all, for for doing a bonehead move and taking a car out like that. But then also, I mean, you're not racing for anything. You're right in the perfect spot here for the playoffs with 7 to go. Plenty of space between you and Michael Yarrow, who's running 57.1s. You're 2 seconds a lap quicker. You don't need to be racing this hard.
Very true, very true. As do much appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight at Freaking Fast Broadcasting. As we got 6 laps to go, and we'll see how this all plays out here. As we still got the top 3 here from that last pit stop on lap 70. Cedric Hunter running in first position with Steven Stempian running there in second. Hunter Hayward's going to be in third position. Steven Leffler is actually running in 4th position, up 7 position. And then starting 5th, running 5th, is going to be Mark Whitley, looking pretty good. We talked about it, really good. And then running in 6th position right now is going to be Chuck, looking really good. And Brad Delph still in the top 10 there. Zach running in 7th position. And a big shout out to, look who's running in 8th, 9th, and 10th position. Wow. Drivers that you normally don't see up that far in the leaderboard is having a great run here tonight.
Having a really good run here tonight. It is definitely those drivers running that position. Really 8th on back. You're seeing a lot of guys have some good runs here. And right now, again, Robert Cheswick, 1 lap down at 18th. He would be the first one knocked out of the next round here. And then Michael Yarrow there in the 16th position. It would be the next one. It looks like right now it's got us still solidified up front with Cedric Hunter leading the way. Steven Stippian right there in tow with Hunter Hayward. But I tell you what, Steven Leffler and Hunter Hayward make contact on the front straight away right here. That's a major incident. Leffler goes through the grass. Can he save it? Yes, he can, I believe. And that is going to take him out of podium spot there, or possible podium contention, as that puts him back now, and that puts Mark Willey up the 4th along with Chuck Sweeting up the 5th.
Wow. That's what I was going to say. 4 laps to go. This should start heating up now here, Zach. We'll have to see how this all plays out here with these top guys here, because we're going to keep an eye on it with 4 laps to go. We'll see if Hunter can latch onto his teammate there. He has been behind Steven Stempian all night. He was up front of him there for a little bit until he got that damage, but now he's been following him all night, and he hasn't really shown any more speed that helped that 81 yet, Zach. So I don't know how this is all going to play out, because I got a funny feeling Steven Stempian probably knows this, and Hunter probably already relayed to him. I don't know if you get on the outside, if I can really help you tonight.
Yeah. What does Hunter Hayward do here, Robert? That's the question. You also got James Bryant there in the 52. I mean, he's still right there as the lap car. He could very well have a major effect in this if it all, especially when it all gets side by side. That's where, when it starts to check up, when you have major moves being made, and with it coming to 3 to go here and now going down to 3 for 2 to go. This is the nerve-wracking time right now. If you're Chuck Sweeting and Mark Whitley, who has no fast repairs in this race, remember, I'm looking to just ride this one out right here.
I was just trying to say, I mean, Steven Stempian, doesn't matter if he wins or loses. Like we said earlier in the broadcast, he's already in the top 4. I see this just ride. I see these top guys now here. There's no point in trying to fight. The bed's already been made. I got a funny feeling this is the running order that we're going to see here. So we'll have to see how this plays out, as James Bryant looks like he's going to try to get out of the way maybe. Or is he trying? Nope. He's going to hop right back in line again. Now, look at this, Zach. We've got Hunter Hayward he was all over the back end of Steven Stempien, so maybe he was playing cat and mouse, and maybe he does have a little bit more speed than that 48.
And we'll see here. Coming to 3 here for the penultimate time tonight here. 3 races to go in the season. We got New Hampshire and Atlanta after this. But it's the freaky fast white flag here tonight for the 22Q Family Foundation. 225 here for the Pocono Raceway. It's the round of 10. 2 drivers are going home tonight, and we got the white flag, so it's going to be official here on this next completion of the lap. What does Steven Stempien do here? He was the winner last week at the Auto Club Speedway. Can he get back-to-back victories here at Pocono? Remember, he's locked into that final round, but here they go down the back straightaway. Big run from the 81. Where does he make his move? Not here yet. Down to the tunnel turn. He waits as they get closer and closer. He still holds position.
He's holding position as they're coming out of the tunnel turn to go down into turn 3 for the very final time here tonight. And we'll see what that 81 can do if he's going to do anything, ladies and gentlemen. Here he comes. He's going to dive it in very, very hard and try to run a different line, see if he can cut down, see if he can get that momentum. But nope, that Cedric Hunter there in that Hello Kitty machine Ford is going to hold off that 81 and take the victory here at Pocono Raceway.
What a drive there from the 11 machine, though. Win it from the 3rd starting spot. He was 2nd last week. He gets it up 1 position better here. And the next gen car here tonight at Pocono it's going to be a 1, 2, 3 for the drivers that were working so together. There's a little bump there between the 48 and the 11 to show the camaraderie there as Mark Whitley. He'll bring it home 4th. 5th's going to be Chuck Sweeting, the round out of that top 5. And Steven Lever was able to hold on to 6th there. But looking back, who's going to be the driver knocked out of the playoff contention? It's going to be James Bryant. He did not come around to get a checkered flag. He slowed down and stopped on the apron.
Wow.
I don't know if was he trying to take himself out of contention there or not, but it's going to be him and Michael Yarrow as Cheswick was able to get ahead of Yarrow here in the late closing. So it's going to be Michael Yarrow and James Bryant going home here in the playoffs.
Well, my data showing that James Bryant wrecked on lap 89 of 90. So he did crash somewhere along the line.
He just stopped.
Oh. Why would you do that? You were in the playoffs.
Yeah, we questioned that for sure, but yeah, it's going to be Michael Yarrow.
Huh.
And James Bryant knocked out. This is Koshik. Or Cheswick and Koshik there, 15th and 14th, are going to make it in with Blair there, 13th, Chamberlain in 12th also. And then you'll have to head up to Brad Delph, Chuck Sweeting, Michael Yarrow, and Steven Stempien and Mark Whitley. It's a heck of a group there, but congrats to Cedric Hunter as he's continuing to burn it down. We're going to get our top 3 up here, and we'll figure out all the circumstances of tonight's race here. We'll be right back, everybody. And we're back here, everybody, for our post-race interviews tonight here at the 22Q Family Foundation 225 here at Pocono Raceway. As we got our top three drivers up here. First driver we're going to have a chat with is our third place driver, the 48 of Hunter Hayward. Let's hear what his thoughts are here, pulling off a third position here tonight. Hey, Hunter, Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, buddy, congrats on another top three finish here tonight in the 48 machine here at Pocono. Looks like another great teamwork victory overall, man. You guys in the top three work very well together.
Yeah, no, this track was you needed the draft to be fast, and that was the way we worked out. I had all the people to work with up front, and we were able to rally our way up to the front as a pack of three, and on fresher tires than everybody else. And so that draft was really strong, and we were able to pull it up to the front and get us a 1, 2, 3 as teammates.
Yeah, man, definitely great teamwork from you guys up front here tonight at Pocono. But next week, the draft probably not going to matter as much. Going to somewhat of a short track there at New Hampshire. You first of all, you're going to be out there, Hunter, and how do you think this car is going to race there with this package?
Well, knowing the short track package with this car, it's actually very similar to what the next gen package will be, with a lot more horsepower and a lot less downforce. So it'll be a fun car to drive. We had a taste of that package at Darlington, a lot of races ago, and so it's a fun package. You definitely have to drive that car a lot more than you do with this one, where it's more foot to the floor and just having a draft with everybody. So I'm definitely looking forward to that race where we actually have to drive the car and won't be all pack racing like we are with this current package with the larger tracks. So I'm looking forward to New Hampshire.
Awesome stuff, buddy. Well, congrats on Thursday tonight at Pocono, Hunter. Before we let you get out of here, man, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, just all my family out there. I love all y'all. All my teammates out there. At Smoke Inc. Unfortunately, Dave had an early exit with his engine blew up mid race, so that was a very interesting ending for him. I didn't expect that to happen, but great race between me, Stemp, and Cedric. So that was a great way to end out the rest of the teammates with a 1, 2, 3 finish. So a great race for them. Everyone else at the league for having put on a great show every single weekend and led me in this league and helped me racing it. Same thing with Freaky Fast. Put on a great show every week. Especially a great job with that 6-hour endurance race. That was a fun. That was a fun race to partake in. And it was a cool thing to also try out here at Freaky Fast. And that was our first, but that was a fun race to race in as well. And check out my sponsor, PlanBSales.com. Plan B Sales is a diecast store. It also has a ton of racing apparel and many other memorabilia, if you'd like, from dirt racing to IndyCar to Formula One, NASCAR, any motorsport you enjoy. Go check out PlanBSales.com for just apparel of your favorite drivers or diecasts or anything that you would like. Make sure to use code HH48 and check out HH as in Hunter Hayward 48 for free shipping on orders $20 and over. So yeah, go check them out.
Well, Hunter, congrats on third, buddy. We'll catch you next week in New Hampshire, and you have a great week.
All right, thank you. You have a great night.
All right, everybody. That was our third place driver here tonight in the 48 machine, Hunter Hayward. Now we're going to move on to his teammate, championship leader, regular season champion, last week's winner, maybe even this upcoming series champion. We're going to have to see, though, here in 2 weeks in Atlanta because he's already made his way into that round. Let's hear from Steven Stippian about the nice race here at Pocono, as we know he loves this place. Hey, Steven, is Zach up in the booth? You got a copy, man?
Zach, I got a copy.
Well, I'll tell you what, buddy, another great run for our regular season champion. You know, you had the safety of, being locked into the final round, man. That doesn't take away how tough the racing was here tonight. It really was talking to Hunter there. Seems like teamwork was a huge factor. You three up front, they're really able to work together very, very well there in the closing laps. And it looks like y'all are going to pull off a 1, 2, 3 there with the little bit of teamwork.
Yeah, heck yeah. I think Smoke Inc. and Cat 5 are going to have to merge. No, I was content with second. I told Cedric, I kind of owed him one. He worked with me last week, got me in the position to, win, even though we battled it out in the last lap. So I was content. Nothing really, not going to gain anything by winning. But, I was happy with a 1-2-3 finish. Battled back at the beginning. I felt to like the 11th or 12th, like I was getting freight train, like I was at Daytona or Talladega, but was able to work my way up and get back up there and just get with them. And that teamwork is the dream work in this car right now. The draft plays a big factor. I mean, obviously there's some guys with different strategies, so I don't know even if we weren't working as a team, if they would have been really able to do anything.
Yeah, definitely the great strategy too here tonight for you guys. But man, it's almost like it's set up back to back here for some of your favorite tracks, man. We head off to New Hampshire next week. I know you're locked in. You have no worries there, but I know you're a big fan of that track. What can we expect heading off into New Hampshire, man, for yourself?
It's my home track. I haven't won there on iRacing yet, so I'm going to try and win. I had some bad luck the last couple of seasons there, so I'm hoping I can pull off a home sweet home victory and right into the chase with some momentum. It's the last race for the championship at Atlanta, and just grab that championship, man. I just really want that. That's the goal, man. Just want that, and we're going to work hard to get that.
Well, man, you keep it up at this pace. It's looking good for that 81 machine, man. We'll have to see how you can do it at next week at New Hampshire. Before we let you get here, as always, man, anybody will send a shout out to Steven?
You guys, obviously, it was good to see Rob up in the booth today. Little throwback there. Obviously, you guys do a tremendous job week in, week out. Gonna have to fire my engine team for Dave Bush blowing an engine. I don't know what happened there, but somebody's getting fired this week. Obviously, my teammates, Hunter Haywood and Dave Bush and Cedric, obviously out there working well as a team. And then my dad out there watching, everybody at the league, my beautiful fiance out there taking care of our beautiful, handsome little guy. And we'll see you guys next Sunday. Looking forward to Loudon.
All righty, Steven, man. Congrats again on second, buddy. We'll catch you next week at Loudon, and it's going to be a special one for sure. I'm for sure of that.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Magic Mile. Hopefully Sneppy's Magic Mile. We'll see.
All righty, man. You have a great night, everybody. That was your second place driver of Steven Stippian. And I will move ourselves on to our race winner here, the 22Q Family Foundation 225. It's Cedric Hunter in the Hello Kitty machine himself. Yes, the 11 Hello Kitty machine. He's able to pull off the victory here in the Next Gen Cup Series car. Let's hear from him how he was able to produce this victory. And it seemed like a lot of teamwork. Let's talk about that teamwork. Hey, Cedric, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, I do. How's it going, man?
It's going good, buddy. I tell you what, definitely a race where strategy and teamwork, I think, had to be the number one things of discussion, man. Just a great work with you and Steven Stippian and Hunter Hayward there to combine forces and really control this field. And that seems like what this car takes, and also some good strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of getting put into a very super speedway-ish mindset with these cars, being flat foot in the tonal turn and then having to just crack the throttle in 1 and 3. For the most part, you're kind of just, you're always on the gas, so always keeping up the momentum and then just really, again, the super speedway package being a thing. Just like super speedways, you kind of need to have that teamwork. And, again, I guess another week where I'm having to find myself some friends or some familiar faces with the Smoke Inc. guys, and having their help to solidify a good position for us tonight.
Yeah, definitely solidified that position very well and pulling off the victory here, man. Next week they head off to New Hampshire. I talked to the other two about that. It's definitely going to be a whole different playing field. This next gen car, the short tracks, it's closer to what we've been used to, but in my opinion, it's still a little bit different. So how do you feel about going off in there, and how about the Magic Mile?
Well, as you know from experience, I'm not that great at that track. I've only done like one short track race at Richmond, actually, in this league with this car. So I'm not quite sure exactly what to expect. It should be interesting. Again, I'm not a huge fan of that track. It's probably statistically one of my worst. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully I can find something during the race and get myself a good finish.
Well, it's going to be fun to see that all play out, man. Congrats on the win here tonight, Cedric. Before I let you get out here, though, as always, here, man, the Hello Kitty machine. Anybody wants to shout to?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a shout out to the Smoking guys again for helping me, for helping me throughout the race and working with me and getting ourselves another podium finish. And then for myself, obviously the win, pretty cool. I've had a throughout multiple Freaky Fast broadcasts over, I think it was like 6 or 7 consecutive second place finishes. So finally to knock off another win feels good. Um, Although there's nothing wrong with finishing second, when you're that close that many times, eventually you just wanna get that win. So I'm happy we were able to do it tonight. Huge shout out to everyone that showed up and all the fans out there tuning in, as well as yourself and Robert and just the whole Freaky Fast gang for putting on a great show. Um, and my Category 5 teammates. Obviously, Zachary, you are one of them. And unfortunately, I'm the only Cat 5 guy that drives in this league, but they're still getting a shout out. So thanks to them and always pushing me and for improvement. So yeah.
Well, buddy, congrats on the win, Cedric. We'll talk to you next time, hopefully in New Hampshire, and maybe back in Victory Lane.
Yes, sir. Hopefully.
Alrighty, everybody. That was your race winner here tonight. Cedric Hunter here at the 22Q Family Foundation 225. What a drive it was for that 11 machine to pull off tonight's victory here, as we'll be looking to pull up our race results and see who is in our Freaky Fast top 10 and who are the notable drivers that had some tough nights and got themselves knocked out of the playoffs here. It looks like we may have a technical difficulty here tonight with understanding. So maybe at some point they'll load here, but it looks like Cedric Hunter there bringing home that first position. Is Steven Steppien's gonna be second. Hunter Hayward's gonna be in that third spot. Fourth's gonna go to Mark Whitley, also making it around to the next round. Chuck Sweeting there in fifth. Stephen Leffler is sixth. Seventh's gonna be Brad Delph, Clifton, Ashley, Knights, Kevin Roy. 10th there, round out that Freaky Fast top 10 is Jason Adams. And the drivers outside of the top 10 that are moving on are Mike Chamberlain, Larry Blair, Mark Koschik, and Mark Koschik there, and Robert Cheswick there in the 15th position. So from that 12th position back to 15th, those guys are all moving on. Is down in 17th and 19th is Michael Yar and James Bryant, as they're going to be going home here tonight, not in the round of 6 or round of 8 for next week at New Hampshire. So unfortunate for those two, they are out of here after Pocono, and they're going to have to be watching the championship from the sidelines here. But man, what a night it's been. It's been a wild bit of racing, a great win for Cedric Hunter, and some great teamwork we've seen out there. As got to see great racing all over the place here. And thank you all for tuning in, as of course. It's been a pleasure to call the action. We got a bunch of likes out there, and a bunch of people watching, a bunch of people chatting it up. So we really appreciate everybody out there chatting it up along with us here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and bringing all the action to you fans here. It's been a fantastic night. But Robert, any final thoughts here before we get out of here tonight here at Pocono and head off into New Hampshire next week, where we're going to break it down to 6 for that Atlanta race?
Not really, man. Great racing again from here. Good job from Cedric Hunter working with the Smoke Inc. guys and finishing second. The Steven Stempien, when it comes to Pocono, he just knows his way. We said it earlier, and we'll say it again. He's fast here, and thank God this ain't the last race of the season, because he'd have 100 odds to 0 that he would win, so it would be a fighting battle. But again, congratulations to Cedric Hunter, Steven Stempien, Hunter Hayward, Mark Whitley, Chuck, Steven Leffler, and Brad Delph finishing out really good. And then, like we said, 8th, 9th, and 10th, James Adams going to round out in the top 10. Good run from him. Good bounce back. Congratulations to him. I do apologize that the point standing, well, not point standing, but the results page did not come up. Software sees it, but it doesn't want to pop it up for some reason. Who knows? Sometimes software on the internet is what it is. But anyways, with that being said, like Zach said, next week, ladies and gentlemen, last race before we head into the final race at Atlanta, with 4 drivers are going to be battling it at Atlanta to bring home that championship. Will Mark Whitley bring it back to back again here at Sim Racing Unleashed. I do believe that would be 3 in a row for him if he gets it this year. And you can hear the domination in Steven Stempion's voice, Zach, that he is focused. This guy's been focused for probably about a month now. You hear a lot of drivers talk and be very focused. He is very focused. Like, you could just hear it in his voice that he's got one set mind and he knows what he's going for, and there ain't nothing going to get in his way to get there.
No, for sure. He is looking like the man to beat, for sure. I mean, we talked about Mark Whitley. He's got 2 championships in a row here at SRU. Everybody, is putting him up there as the favorite and one of the drivers to beat. But man, that 81 Steven Stippian,
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's the favorite, but he's got to be the driver you're going to have to go through. I think this season he's just shown after last season, especially, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder knowing how good he ran last season, having the most wins, just not getting able to be there the whole season and compete for the full, late season championship. So, I think he's got that chip on the shoulder. He's going to be a tough one to beat.
Yeah, I agree. If I had to, go into DraftKings and Steven Stempion's name was in the DraftKings for me to pick on the NASCAR pool, I'd put him in my lineup. He'd be in my lineup.
He'd be pretty expensive.
I don't care. He'd be in my lineup. I don't care how expensive he would be. He'd be in my lineup because, he's guaranteed at least a top 5 right now, and he's just on a roll. But with that being said, hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's content. Make sure you tune in next Sunday, like we said here at 7:50 here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. See, I'm not used to talking. Yeah, as we're broadcasting, Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We'll go live at next week at 7:50. So hopefully everybody can join in next Sunday. But our next televised broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, will be tomorrow night with the NISCC Truck Series, and that's going to be interesting as we're going to watch them guys battle it out, and it's going to be a fun race to watch them duke it out and do what they need to do. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 8:45 when we'll have Sam Dyer, Zach Hall, and Brian Johnson, our pit reporter, calling all the action with them guys tomorrow night. But until then, have the great rest of your week. If you are caught in the snowstorm, stay inside. Wait to get outside. Let everybody get out there and clean off the roads before you have to travel out. But if you do have to travel out, please be safe and just pay attention because we got a lot of ice, a lot of wind, and a lot of rain, and then we got a lot of snow coming down in the Northeast right now. But until then, have a great rest of your week. And we like to always say here to everybody at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.